just know that every elementary school teacher is saying more Olivia's on the way, more Noah's on the way.
Which is good, because then you say Olivia and you're probably addressing about 3 or 4 kids all at once.
This is true.
Yeah.
All in one class.
Yeah.
It's warming up outside.
It is. I'm going to say this, it will still be chilly this week, but we're already significantly warmer. For example, this morning with the wind chill, it felt more like -28, -29. And all weekend we had daytime highs in the minus teens with wind chills close to that -30 mark. At this point, we're -5 with a wind chill of -9. So still a bite in the air, of course, but things are improving. Big Four Motors, Calgary's original Jeep store and more in Tizah Park, is sitting at -7. Downtown, -4. And with the wind chill, we're again in and around those minus double digits, minus teens. Okay, when we look at the next 24 hours, -7 to kick off the morning, that will feel like -16. So still another cold start to the day tomorrow, but we should get up to the freezing mark tomorrow afternoon. More details coming up, Ian.
So Danielle, you were talking about wind chill earlier, so that's an issue that we'll have to deal with for a while.
Yeah, just not as extreme as what we had on the weekend, and certainly not as extreme as what they're getting in other parts of the country with the whole polar vortex and the Arctic outbreak, and wind chills in the -40s communities. In other provinces. So yes, we've had cold air, but we haven't been as cold as many other communities off to the east, and we're warming up. So we're not going to be extremely warm this week, but we're going to hover around that freezing mark for daytime highs, so a little more reasonable and closer to normal than the weekend was. Okay, with the wind chill, it feels like -10 in Calgary. Claresholm right now feels like -7. Pincher Creek, a lot gustier right now. So -19 is what it feels like there, -19 as well in Medicine Hat, and -28 in Drumheller. So quite a range, depending on the winds and the temperatures as well. Further to the north, certainly dealing with some colder temperatures, and especially off to the northeast. All right, in the clouds here, this is the jet stream, and it tracks off to the south. Yes, we have the clouds because of this that will continually creep in over the next 24 hours or so, but we will get some sunny breaks tomorrow here and there. We also have flurries that are attached to this as well that will creep its way in tomorrow night for Calgary. Again, we're not looking at any significant snowfalls this week, but we could pick up light dustings here and there, especially tomorrow night and on Thursday. Let me just play through this next little bit here. Clouds for tonight and in through tomorrow morning. Early tomorrow morning, it looks like for the most part the snowfall will be along the QE2 in the early morning hours and then track along the Trans-Canada. We may see a couple flurries from this in Calgary, but again, nothing significant, maybe a quick burst if anything, and then on its way out. But by tomorrow night is when we should see some decent snowfall at times in some parts of the city, making tomorrow night driving tricky, but it should be short-lived. Again, we're looking at 1 centimeter to 2 centimeters tops, and then this is out of the way. So by Wednesday, we're looking at some sunshine. So there's that Arctic air, that polar air that has plunged into eastern Canada. We're starting to catch the edge of a ridge of high pressure. This is going to slump a little bit, but then it will return, which is why we're not looking at extreme highs or anything like that this week, but we are looking at more reasonable temperatures. -3 is what's normal for this time of year. We're looking at daytime highs close to that freezing mark really for the rest of this week. So we're looking at 0 for tomorrow, some sunny breaks, some cloudy periods, and then later in the day, especially by the supper hours and through the evening hours, we could see a couple centimeters of snow. On Wednesday, mainly just clear, some sunny breaks, some cloudy periods, and a high of 0, and we should stick around that mark. Thursday, we could get another centimeter or 2, and then we drop a little bit to -1 for the weekend. But again, some decent temperatures as we head through this week.
We get to Saturday, our weather should be quite a bit warmer than it was today.
Yes, because today's high was -5 with a wind chill for the most part in the minus teens. And, you know, by the weekend, -1.
That's okay.
Yeah, we're hovering around that freezing point really for the rest of this week. We're looking at flurries here and there, but nothing really significant with regards to any sort of moisture this week, though. Our high today, yes, -5. We are currently sitting at -6 with the wind chill in the minus double digits at times. Now, the winds are going to pick up tonight, 40, 50 kilometers per hour tonight and through tomorrow, but that's out of the west. That should carry us up to 0 for our high tomorrow. Ian?
Well, we had a big bump in the temperatures today. Let's check in with Danielle. That bitter cold is gone, at least for a few days.
Yeah, you know, we're going to have reasonable temperatures for the rest of this week. That's going to be our story. Now, this morning it was still cold. We had wind chills in the minus 20s, minus 28, minus 29. We're now sitting at minus 4 with a wind chill of minus 10. So there's more reasonable. This is really where we should be for this time of year. We're going to get warmer than that over these next 24 hours. We have winds that will be kicking in out of the west, so it will be a gusty night tonight and gusty throughout the day tomorrow, up to 50 kilometers per hour. Still cold to start tomorrow morning with a wind chill of minus 16, but by tomorrow afternoon we should get to that freezing mark, which will feel very toasty for us, Tara, since it was so cold this weekend.
Thank you, Danielle. Let's bring Danielle back in now as we look ahead to our 5-day forecast. These 5 days much nicer than the last 5 days.
And of course, we learn to appreciate that when we have a cold weekend like we just had, and many stuck indoors because of it. Yes, we're looking at reasonable temperatures, pretty stable this week, a little above normal. Nothing too crazy in the weather in general this week, but a couple flurries here and there. We'll talk about it. Minus 8 is what it feels like in Claresholm right now. Minus 6 is what it feels like in Calgary, but of course colder as we head off to the north, and especially the northeast. Much cooler air mass in place the further east we go in the country. Minus 19 is what it feels like in Red Deer, minus 26 in Drumheller. Basically the jet stream is right here in the clouds. Now, it's the storm track as well, so it's going to bring in some of these pockets of snowfall. These are light pockets of snow. They won't really accumulate to anything other than really a light dusting for most communities. For us here in Calgary, 1 centimeter, maybe 2 is what we could see by tomorrow night. As I pass through this, I'm going to move out of the way here, and you can see that really for tomorrow along the QE2 and Trans-Canada, likely a quick burst of snow. Again, nothing much should accumulate from this. It should be very short-lived and quick moving. Tomorrow we should get some sunny breaks, but then tomorrow night is when we get a little bit of snow arriving. Now we're looking at a 1 to 2 centimeters possible in Calgary. I'm going to give you what we can expect in other communities as well here. And then this will clear out very quickly, so by Wednesday we should have some sunshine. Just a look at what we can expect from this little burst of snow that we get tomorrow night and through early Wednesday morning. Again, about 1 centimeter or 2 in Calgary, 3 centimeters for Airdrie, 6 for Red Deer, 3 for Brooks, and likely about 4 to 5 centimeters for Medicine Hat, because it will last a little longer in the Medicine Hat area. Here's that frigid air off to the east. Again, the polar vortex, which is frigid air at the poles, is able to expand sometimes and move its way down, and that's what it's doing. So wind chills in the minus 40s, even minus 50s in some communities off to the east of us. We're catching, though, this ridge of high pressure. So while we had cold weather this weekend, not minus 40s, we certainly are getting a boost in temperature. We're getting these winds out of the west. So it will be a gusty day, gusty tonight, gusty through tomorrow, but that's going to carry our temperatures up as well. That means sitting at the freezing mark for tomorrow. Again, winds gusting out of the west at about 50 kilometers per hour at times throughout the day tomorrow. And then late in the day, we get into that chance of getting some flurries, 1 to 2 centimeters. That should end early Wednesday morning, but we should hover around that freezing mark for daytime highs for the rest of this week, Tara.
Thank you, Danielle. See, that's fun.
Yeah, it looks
fun
great.
to watch, good people watching. Yeah, good times. Okay, a Pittsburgh Penguins player has made some goal-scoring history. It wasn't Sidney Crosby, though. This wasn't even his first NHL goal. It was his first NHL, but not his first in pro hockey. He also scored one.
Impressive.
Yeah. Well, adopting a pet isn't unusual, but this lady in France had to go to court to fight to keep hers because it's a wild boar. This is Roulette. She wasn't always this big. She was found abandoned as a tiny little piglet, and her owner has taken care of her ever since. There were attempts to release her back into the wild, but those failed. She didn't want to leave, so instead the woman who found her tried to get legal authorization to keep her. She failed at first, but after a public outcry, because boar was going to be taken away, the court ruled the boar could stay with its owner.
I mean, it looks friendly
And it plays soccer, so
Yeah,
I mean,
there you
come
go.
on.
Could join the soccer team.
He's very happy there. Lego is taking a bite out of this opportunity. You can soon buy a Twilight Lego set. So obviously this one designed for adults, because kids aren't going to know what the Twilight movie is. Starting next month, the Cullen family house is up for grabs, the Lego house. The set also includes characters like Bella and Edward and Jacob. There's even a werewolf that you can build. 2,000 pieces in total. It was a couple of $100. I looked it up. This isn't cheap.
Whoa.
It's a replica of the 3-story house, complete with rooms and accessories. Edward Cullen's figurine even sparkles.
My kids love Twilight.
Really? Oh,
Yes.
well, then maybe this is an investment you should make for them.
Oh.
Also smart to gear stuff towards the adults. There are a lot of adults into Lego. I guess because it's calming.
Absolutely they are, yeah.
Yeah.
Good thinking.
Okay, Capital Chef's Skywatch camera. The winds will start to pick up out of the west. So we're looking at gusts up to 50 kilometers per hour tonight and through much of tomorrow as well at times. That's going to knock our temperatures up. So while we're still looking at a cold start to tomorrow morning, we're looking at getting to the freezing mark in the afternoon hours. So quite a change from the weekend. Even today, it's still chilly out there today, but quite a change. Our morning wind chill was minus 28, 29 in Calgary. So it certainly felt cold this morning. At this point, though, we're sitting at -4 with a wind chill closer to -10. And you can see much colder temperatures off to the east of us. In fact, wind chill warnings in place for many parts in southern Saskatchewan, southern Manitoba, and even through Ontario. Now, Ontario, northern Ontario, parts could actually have wind chills in the -50s and -40s here. So while that colder air is all off to the east, we're going to continue to rise. Now, we're not looking at extremely warm temperatures this week, but we are looking at hovering around that freezing mark for daytime highs for pretty much the rest of the week. Currently, we're sitting at -4. That's also our daytime high. Normal is -3, so we're right where we should be for this time of year. It does feel closer to -6 at the moment with the wind chill at the airport. In Pincher Creek, it feels closer to -19. Same thing in Medicine Hat. Check out Red Deer, though, -19, Drumheller -26 with the wind chill. Okay, it certainly has been gusty today, closer to 90 kilometers per hour in Pincher Creek and then 70 in Lethbridge. You're looking at those kinds of gusts as we head through tomorrow as well. Medicine Hat through Brooks and Calgary, 50 kilometer per hour gusts. Mild temperatures in many communities in southern interior BC. Kamloops getting to a high of 1. Edmonton looking at 1, but better chance of snow up there. And again, in southern Alberta, we're looking at the winds, 50 kilometer per hour gusts in Calgary and then Pincher Creek over to Lethbridge. 70, 80 kilometer per hour gusts, but you're looking at a high of 1 in Lethbridge for tomorrow. Looking at that 10-day trend for us, you can see hovering around that freezing mark right through the rest of this week, Tara.
Thank you, Danielle. Thank you very much, Gwen. Well, I'm not going to miss the extreme cold. I'm not going to miss that wind either, Danielle.
Oh, okay. Well, the wind will be here.
Oh.
It will be. Yeah, so cold start to the morning, but that wind out of the west will carry us up to the freezing mark in the afternoon. So, you know, hit and miss.
It's not the worst.
I like the temperatures.
All right, yeah. It's a reasonable weather week. Nothing crazy going on. I mean, we'll see a few flurries likely Tuesday night, maybe a few more on Thursday. 2 at max, really, is what we're looking at. So, yeah, mild temperatures, daytime highs around that freezing mark. So, a quiet week, I'm going to say. All right, weather window brought to you by Lux Windows and Doors, crafting quality windows and doors for your style, budget, and Alberta's climate. Now, Don McCreary is in Panama, and he wants to send his warmest wishes. And I figure because, you know, it's Blue Monday.
Yeah.
We need to see a beach and some palm trees, don't we?
That makes everybody feel better.
Yeah.
Jealous, but better. Yeah. Thanks for your company tonight. Have a great evening.